To see you all. It's nice to see you all this bank holiday weekend, and I hope you've all been having a fantastic weekend over Easter. And happy Easter to you all. And hope you've been enjoying time, reconnecting with your family, and taking this time to, redevelop those relationships and give your family the quality time that they deserve. Yes, business is a fantastic thing, but we also need that time to reconnect with our families and to remember the reason why we're doing all these things. So I hope you've been having a fantastic Easter break. So we're here today as distinguished members of the Ni Adesanya Business Think Tank. And I again want to give you all a very warm welcome. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this webinar today. My name is Kemi Olude, and I met some of you in Dubai, and well, I didn't get to meet every single person because it was quite a busy time, wasn't it? But I certainly did meet some of you, and it was such a rewarding experience to have met you there. So as we all know, the Ni Adesanya Business Think Tank is a semi-formal league of business leaders and entrepreneurs dedicated to bringing centenary organizations with a global brand by putting into perspective its peculiar dynamics and evolving business environments. So we know we are here to do big things and to do great things. And that's why we're all part of the Ni Adesanya Think Tank. So today it's the sequel to the amazing conversations that we had in Dubai recently conducted at the Global Strategy Retreat in Dubai. So it's been put together to further engage our distinguished guest speaker. And today, as we all know, in Dubai, we didn't actually get enough time with our guest speaker, Martin Spragon. So today we actually have, more time, which is absolutely fantastic. He agreed to come back and, possibly finish his slides and, to open the conversation and to talk even more with us. So all those questions that you had in Dubai that you weren't able to get across, today you have the opportunity to get those questions across to him, which is absolutely fantastic. So I hope you have your questions ready, and you're going to have a fantastic session ahead. There's no holds barred. He's given us this time today, so I hope you all make the most of it. So as we all know, if you are in Dubai, actually, before we move on there, let me just see, who do we have here today? Can we just have a good afternoon? Could you just unmute your mics and say hello back? Good afternoon, everybody. Are we all ready for this session today? Good afternoon, everybody. Unmute your mics. Just say hello. Let me hear you all there.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Wonderful.
I see your beautiful face again.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I am very well.
Mr. Peter, Mr. Agan.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing, guys?
I go Ibadan this afternoon. Peter, how are you doing?
Yeah, Ibadan's cool.
I'm good.
All
right. Kemi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you. Good afternoon. Good to see you all. So fantastic. So it's good to see you all smiling. That's a good thing. It's good to see you all smiling. I'm sure. Did everybody enjoy themselves in Dubai?
Oh yeah, I did enjoy myself.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Bolade, did you enjoy yourself? Sorry, Mr. Adedigba, did you have a good time in Dubai? Can we not hear? We can't hear you.
He's muted at the time.
You've muted your mic. You need to unmute yourself. Okay, it looks like I don't know British Sign Language, but if you can enlighten us later, that will be fine. That will be fine. Let's see, who else is there? Who else is there in Dubai? If you were there in Dubai, I want to say a big shout out, say hello, and tell me if you had a fun time in Dubai. Oh,
yeah, I was in Dubai.
Yeah.
You was in Dubai, okay.
You muted me.
Oh, right, they muted you, right? Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
But I can speak now.
Okay.
It's such a wonderful experience.
Okay.
It's such a wonderful experience, you know, meeting wonderful people like you and the rest.
It certainly was. It certainly was.
So, and it's such a well-packaged program. I really love it. It's a program I would like to be part of it often.
Okay, wonderful. So it looks like you're coming next year then.
It's a great brain shift.
It is definitely. It definitely is. Wow. So we're all refreshed after coming back from Dubai. I don't know, but I think I needed another holiday after coming back from Dubai. It was quite intense, actually. It was quite intense. I'm still dealing with, you know, the connections. I'm still speaking to so many of you. You know, it's taken quite a bit, and you know, making connections and talking to new people. But that's all, you know, all part of the fun of it, certainly. Okay, so we have our distinguished guest here today. As I said, we've got Professor Martin Spraggon. If I want to be all formal, he's actually a professor, and we certainly did learn a lot in the think tank in Dubai, and we got a lot of strategy, a lot of you know, interesting concepts that he put forward in Dubai. So we're going to today expand on that knowledge and again pick his brains as much as we possibly can and glean all the information that we can to be able to take forward into our businesses and our organizations. So as you know, Professor Martin Spraggon, he's an expert in corporate governance, strategy and formulation, a strategic positioning, benchmarking, design thinking, innovation, international marketing, and portfolio management. And he has more than 25 years of industry and consulting experience across the GCE, Europe and America. And he is a conference speaker on various topics, including education, corporate strategy, leadership, and happiness. Can you imagine that? I mean, it's something that we don't really think about, is it? You just think, oh, I'm just doing this. But he's actually he speaks about happiness. So I please want somebody to ask that question. If you don't ask the question, I'll ask it myself about happiness, certainly. And he's also the former Dean of the School of Business and Quality Management at the Hamdan bin Mohammed Smart University in Dubai, UAE. So without further ado, I want you to please put your hands together, unmute your mics and make some noise for Professor Martin Spraggon. Please put your hands together.
Prof, nice to see you again.
Same here, same here.
And you too.
So do we get started now?
So what we're going to do now is Martin is going to speak to us briefly with a presentation, and then we're going to be able to ask him some questions later. It seems like you are pretty prepared with your questions, aren't you? So, but we'll certainly ask the questions later. So Martin, can I invite you to the platform to start with your presentation, please?
Thank you so much for the introduction. So let's go straight to the slides. I will go through the slides that we're missing and we'll finish everything, and then we'll have time for interaction. So guys, can you see my PowerPoint on the screen? Can you see?
Yes,
Beautiful. So last time we finished talking about how to adopt a design thinking mindset, and we talked a little bit about 6 main principles, and I will just recap these principles. So when we talk about adopting a design thinking mindset, we are talking about mainly developing a human-centered approach to whatever we do. And when I say human-centered approach, I'm talking about putting customers at the realm of everything that we do, right? Putting the user at the core of our operations. And that is key, because when you really develop this empathy with customers, with users, and you understand what they are feeling, what they are doing, what they are thinking, it's much easier to really develop something that is going to make sense to them and is going to be absorbed by them. So this is critical. Develop a human-centered approach. Also, another very important principle in design thinking is to have a very clear process. In design thinking, you always have a process that you follow, right? And this process follows certain steps that must be respected. And the process goes from first understanding the customer, understanding and defining the problem, then developing ideas and potential solutions, then prototyping, and then we are talking about how to validate that prototype and commercialize it. So these are mainly the most important processes in design thinking. What people generally make a mistake is that they don't trust the process and they want to go faster than usual, or they try to just put solutions that we thought of the solutions in advance before going through the process. And when you do that, you really fail the main purpose of design thinking, that is really bringing about creating a completely new approach to a solution that you were encountering, to a problem you were encountering, no solution. So the process is fundamental. Something that is also very important in design thinking is that you show things. You don't talk too much. You just show things, and that means that you action on everything that you do. To give an example about that is, instead of giving feedback talking, what you do is you really give feedback by creating a prototype or showing through different means, by doing things what you mean as opposed to talking. Another principle of design thinking that is very, very important is what we call radical collaboration, which means it's a collective endeavor, it's a collective effort. Everyone must be part of that. And people really have different mindsets, different backgrounds, and it's important to tap into those differences. So it's extremely important when we talk about radical collaboration is that everyone chips in the conversation in all these efforts. The last idea about the principles of design thinking is really developing a culture of prototyping. Everything we do, we should be developing prototypes all the time. As opposed to just talking, we do prototypes, which are very cheap to do, almost the cost is non-existent, and things move forward like that. So let me tell you a little bit about the importance of playfulness and playing in organizations. And this is a very innovative concept because we are talking about here why people play in organizational settings, why people really play at work. And I say, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? No. There's so much research done. And I've done more than 20 articles on this topic, that is how to innovate through playing. How can I engage in playing at work to generate innovative outcomes, to create new products, to create new services, to improve the processes and procedures in my work? So how can I do that? Well, there's an idea, a great concept that is very important, that is called Homo Ludens. Homo Ludens is the man who plays. And this concept was, exists there since 1950s. And actually is very important because it recognizes that people, human beings, they love to play like animals, in the sense that we play for the sake of playing, and we have a very playful nature, that when we tap into that playful nature, it's very likely that we are going to be engaging in new endeavors, in new ways of doing things, because we are thinking freely and things move forward like that. Also, something that is important in this idea of playfulness that is completely related to design thinking is when companies are really going to focus on giving rewards for new things, for taking risk, for novelty, as opposed to rewarding people for doing always the same and for being predictable in their behaviors. In design thinking, it's very important not to be predictable. It's very important to let things happen, let things emerge as they take place, as opposed to really thinking in advance what's going to happen or repeating whatever we done in the past. Here is about breaking the chains of the past and really opening the doors of the future by doing new things. Something that I really love about the quote of the CEO of Google when he was the CEO for 10 years in 2001, Eric Schmidt, is he said, "We run this company on questions, not answers," which means what? Google, you know, is such a successful company, it's very powerful. And how they make this success happen? Well, because the main culture and the main philosophy of Google was based on let's ask questions and the right answers will emerge, but everything is about curiosity. Everything is about let's question whatever we do, not just for the sake of questioning. Let's question why we are doing the way we do things. Let's question why this is not possible or why we didn't do this before. So questioning in a healthy and constructive fashion is extremely important. And again, when we talk about design thinking, this questioning spirit, this questioning mindset is what make really design thinking successful. And just to give you an example of that, in Dubai government, there's a unit called the Prime Minister Office. And within the Prime Minister Office, you have a new ministry that I think that maybe is the only ministry in the world that is called the Ministry of Making Possible the Impossible. And it's called like that in Arabic. There's a ministry like the Ministry of Economy, the Ministry of Education. Well, it's the Ministry of Making Possible the Impossible. And you say, what do they do? Well, in this ministry, what they do is they really try to deal with extremely complex questions and problems, right? And by asking the right questions. The most important thing is asking the right question, because it's not about giving right answers. If you ask the right question, the right answers will come. But if you ask the wrong question, the answers that you give, even if they are right, doesn't make sense. What it really makes sense is you need to learn to ask the right questions as opposed to just giving the right answers. Answers, we all can give answers, but when you ask the right question, you are guiding the people or the group or the team or the organization to answer that question that is right. So whatever pops up from that question is going to make a big difference to the company. This is real pictures that I took in my seminars when I was teaching design thinking in action, where you see really people from different backgrounds. Here you have CEOs, you have directors, you have people from different nationalities, you have local people in UAE, you have people from all over the world. Look, so engaged, they are playing, they forgot about the past or the future. They are right here, right now playing, asking the right questions, brainstorming together, prototyping. And as you see, they don't talk much. What they do is they show what they think by doing. If you look at this man that is giving the back, holding kind of a stick with a marshmallow, he's giving feedback by explaining why he thinks this could be a solution and this can be used to solve the issue. So people do things by action. They give their feedback by prototyping, by showing, as opposed to by talking. And also the spirit is about play. This is another workshop I ran, again, some time ago, where you see, look, you have people from different backgrounds and everyone is engaged in playing at work. You play at work to innovate, to create. And it's very simple because you just, create this atmosphere with the proper techniques and processes that people follow to really create solutions. And these pictures are completely spontaneous. They were just people were working and I was just taking pictures during the workshop. And here what they were doing is they were redesigning their processes in their companies to become much more effective and efficient. The result of this is that they reduce significantly cost of fees associated in their companies, and they save so much money to focus on other things. So this is things that they were doing before. Let me also give you some ideas about martial arts in strategy, and how can you really use martial arts principles in strategy, right? And the first main idea that comes from martial arts, from fighting, is something that is called tactical hell versus what we call strategic heaven. And you wonder, what are you talking about? What is this? Well, I tell you, because this is something that is very important, and you can use this in your personal life, in your professional life, and of course, as a leader in your organization as you are, right? So what means to be in a position of tactical hell? Tactical hell mainly means that you are continuously reacting to stimuli or to moves from the opponent, and you are never acting from inside out. You are acting always from outside in. So tactical hell mainly means you are in hell every time you are reacting to people's behavior, because you don't do what you really want to do or what you've been thinking to do or applying a strategy. What you do is just reacting to whatever stimuli or move that come from the opponent or from the environment. Think of an organization that doesn't have a clear vision or mission, and they just shoot everywhere, hoping and expecting something good would happen. But generally, it's not the case. Nothing good happens, and they get lost. So tactical hell is very much about that. Strategic heaven is completely the opposite. Strategic heaven means what? You are so well-centered that you know exactly why you are doing what you do, and you decide to take action at certain point because you have time to reflect on what you want to do. You have time to really think, and you are operating from inside out as opposed from outside in. You're really thinking in a strategic fashion and thinking about how can I use my resources in a much more optimal fashion, in a way that is going to be very effective and efficient, and in a way that really aligns with my DNA and with my vision in my organization. So strategic heaven is about that. The same goes in fighting. A great fighter that is in a strategic heaven position is a fighter that is going to maximize and utilize his full competencies, and he's going to have a game plan, and he's going to put his rules in the game, and he's going to impose that in the field. So strategic heaven is about that. There's another very important concept in strategy that is very important, that is called premeditation of evils, or premediato malorum, which means what? This is a Latin word, which means what? Is before engaging in a given strategy or before making a big move in an organization, it's very important that you think in your mind, you have this exercise. You think about what would be the worst that can happen to me. What would be the worst that can happen in my organization if I do this? So premeditation of evils means I will have the worst fantasy or the worst outcome in my mind of what would happen if I do that. So I imagine the worst situation, and you wonder, why are you going to do that? Very simple. You want to imagine the worst situation, so you have a plan A, B, or C, and you know exactly what to do if that thing happens. So for example, in fighting, if you anticipate that, well, you know, my opponent can do this or this or this move, and this would be really bad for me for these circumstances, well, I should have already a strategy in mind to cope and deal with that situation. So if I imagine the worst, I would know how to react and I will not freak out. In my organization, it's the same. You know, imagine that people predicted COVID or what would happen with COVID before it happened. Or imagine if people predicted that, you know, what would I do in my company if there's no more physical interaction or communication, or what would I do in my company and my business if I cannot travel anymore? If that is the worst thing that can happen, what can I do? Imagine that you anticipated this kind of things in advance and you have these scenarios. You will have strategies put in place that will really help you to deal with this kind of situations. And if you really thought in advance about the worst things that can happen to you, the same. And I ask you the same question to you. Imagine the following, very bad, but imagine what would you do if suddenly, for any reason, your bank or your account gets hacked and you lose all your money? So what do you do? Imagine, right? And this is what we call the premeditation of evils. What would I do? What would be my plan? What would be my strategy? How am I going to cope with these kind of things? So this when we talk about martial arts in strategy is really important in our organizations, having mitigation plans to put forward. Also, another principle that is fundamental for martial arts is you need to be ready for anything. Anything can happen in the field. So if you are ready for anything, that means that you keep a very open mind and you are ready for any potential incident that may take place and may affect your organization in a positive or negative fashion. Imagine that you think that certain events may take place, in your organization, in the economic context, in Africa, or in whatever country you are, and you say, well, I'm ready for this. If this happens, yeah, it's a challenge, it's very tough, but sometimes a challenge is a window of opportunity, as Chinese people say. Chinese people love challenge because it's good or bad, it depends. Everything is about the position you take. Is it good or bad, COVID? Well, some people will tell you COVID was hell. I died. And some people will tell you I lost my business, or I lost my job, or I lost millions of dollars. And some other people will tell you, I have never done so much money in my life. Thank you to COVID. Why? Because it's about the position. It's not about something is good or bad. It is what it is. Reality, it is what it is. Things that happen, they are what they are. But all is about what position are you taking towards whatever is happening. And this, guys, is so important in life, is so important in your work. We should not be judging things by this is good, this is bad, whatever. We should replace that by it is what it is. But what I'm going to do with whatever is happening, that's the key, So when we are ready for anything, means we are so flexible that whatever happens outside, I will find ways immediately to take advantage of whatever happens. And I will not be judging like, this is good, this is bad. I will say, this is reality. What is going to be my position? Is it going to be strategic heaven, or is it going to be tactical hell? I'm going to be panicking and shooting all over and collapse and don't know what to do, or I will act thinking in a cold way with a cold mind and take advantage of the situation of whatever it is and make it a positive for me. Not because whatever happens is positive, but because I'm taking it in a positive way with a positive approach. And that is life-changing, Everything is about the position you take. If you take a victim position, you will be a victim. If you take a winning position, you will be a winner. If you take an alpha position, meaning I will dominate this, you will dominate that, So this is important to retain. Be ready for anything means it is what it is. The question is, what are you going to do about that? And there's a beautiful, quote that says 10% of things that happen are there and happen to me, right? And there's nothing I can do. But there's a 90% of everything that is how I'm going to react to that 10%. And how I'm going to react to that 10% equates almost for 90% of the outcome. Everything is about how I'm going to react, how I'm going to act in situations where things happen. Because things happen to us all the time. But 90% of the outcome of that situation is, am I going to be defeated because of my position, or I'm going to be building up like Ave Phoenix? I'm going to be strong and build up and reinvent myself because I'm going to be changing my world because of my position. That's the question, right? Whatever happens, happens. there's nothing you can do, but how you react is everything. Another very important principle when we talk about martial arts and strategy is surprising the enemy. What about doing things that are completely unexpected? What about doing movements in fight that are completely unexpected? Generally, the most beautiful knockouts are out of unexpected, unprecedented moves to defend or to attack the enemy. And generally, when you take the enemy by surprise, it's a winning game. And this is fascinating because the same goes for your organization and the competition in your organization. Why not do things that are unthinkable, unprecedented, and the enemy would, or the opponent would have no idea or no clue that this is coming. And this is, again, thinking out of the box. This is, again, thinking in a very strategic place that is called strategic heaven, what we explained before. So surprising the opponent is extremely important. And another very important principle in martial arts, when we talk about strategy, is the difference between being fluid, right, and being fixed. Generally, because we are human beings, we have an ego. And when we have an ego, we have so much to lose. Because when you have an ego, generally, you're going to put forward like ideas or objectives, or processes or products that we created, are our baby, we love them, we put them there, we defend it with everything that we have. But sometimes what happens is what? The market doesn't think so. And we think it's fascinating, but the market doesn't think so. So we become fixated on continue doing something that is not working. And the definition of stupidity by Einstein is continue doing the same and expect a different result. And this is like exactly applies here. Being fixed or fixated or having a fixation on a way of doing things is going to get you in trouble, because you need to be fluid. You need to be able to maneuver and maneuver in difficult times. And fluidity is about this flexibility and this agility that is so required today. And let me give you an example. Imagine a company that produces a certain product, and at some point, imagine, I'll give you a real example right now. Imagine a company like Emirates, right? A flying company that they fly aircraft, right? And COVID kicks in, COVID comes, no more troubles, no more flights. You need to cancel 90% of your flights, or the majority. You need to cancel everything. And you have two choices. Generally, a company that is not in strategic heaven, or a company that is not well positioned, is going to go bankrupt, straightforward, not much to do, nothing to do. But a very strong company, they will reinvent themselves. They will be fluid. They will be fluid like water. Remember Bruce Lee saying, be like water, my friend, right? And you say, what is he talking about? He's crazy. Well, no, he's so clever. He's so smart, Bruce Lee, because he's saying by being be like water, what he's telling you is be fluid, be agile, be shapeless, be able to reinvent yourself and your company, be able to turn around anything that goes against you. If you threw a very hard stone against the water, what's going to happen? Well, the rock will go against the water, and the water is going to just grab the stone and continue its path. The water is not getting broken. The water is reshaping itself to continue doing what it was doing. Nothing is happening. Why? Because we are fluid. In martial arts, it's the same. I told you I'm a black belt, and I love fighting in competitions and things. I used to do that a lot. And the thing is this: the more rigid you are with your body, and the more tight you are, the more easy you get broken. Your bones get broken very easily. However, if you are flexible, fluid, you can absorb impact of punches and kicks and stuff, and you just absorb that like water. When a rock comes to you, you absorb because you are more flexible, You absorb, of course, it's painful, but you absorb that pain in a flexible way, and you turn around and hit back. So you're not going to be much hurt. And actually, you're going to use that power and that energy from the opponent, from the enemy, against him or against her or against the organization. And this is key. Be like water means be fluid, reshape yourself, go around obstacles, be shapeless, change your state. Change your state means what? Well, you know very well, water can be liquid, but water, if you put it under serious heat, it's going to boil, and it's going to create bubbles, and it's going to burn whoever touches the water. And if you heat it for a long time, it's going to evaporate, and it's going to become steam, and it's going to become vapor. So you cannot touch the water anymore, and the water disappears from where it was. It's changing the shape. And then the water is going to become rain at some point. And if it's very cold, the water will become frozen like ice, very powerful and strong. And if you hit the ice again, it's going to become liquid again. So you see, whatever happens outside in the context is going to provide stimuli and challenges, but the water is always going to win. Why? It's going to change its state. It's going to transform to be liquid, to be steamy, to be like strong like ice. A piece of ice can kill you, can be very powerful, can be cutting. But water at the same time, liquid, can just be shapeless. And the steam can really create a lot of harm or a lot of good, depending on how you use it. Boiling water can destroy your skin, So being fluid means changing the state, and for the state of what you are. And for an organization, being like water is key. Because in a situation like COVID, and if you're an aircraft company, and if you are not fluid, you will die and you will go bankrupt. So you say, how can you apply that? Think about this. Instead of flying planes, what you can do, and a lot of companies, like successful companies like Emirates done, is they started exploiting virtual training of flying, virtual simulations. They started really developing a lot of things, different businesses that came because of COVID. They started becoming everything online. They started creating virtual reality and augmented reality simulations. I mean, they didn't, of course, catch up all the money that they could have made, but they really made tons of money, and they created new businesses. They enhanced their academic services online. They really transformed themselves. They started really playing with that. They increased much more their investment capacities, working with, stock markets and things. So they really reinvent the know-how as a company to survive, changing the state like water. So you should think about this for yourself as a leader. How can you change your states to deal with complexity and cope with it is what it is, with reality? Because remember, it is what it is. Reality, it is what it is. It's not good, it's not bad. Reality is reality. The secret is, what are you going to do about that? What is going to be your position? Are you going to be fixated? Are you going to be fluid? Are you going to be like water, or you're going to get rotten? So the choice is our choice as managers, as leaders. Something that is very important in an organization that I love, and I apply this in my life on a daily basis, is have a very curious mindset. In design thinking, this is critical. In strategy, is critical. Never take things for granted. Never think, oh, it is what it is. Okay, that's fine. You tell me this. Okay, that's fine. This is how we do things. Okay. No, a curious mindset is someone that is always going to be questioning in a constructive fashion why I do what I do. Why I don't do something different. What is preventing me from becoming uncomfortable and challenging myself to learn something new? Because the reality, my friends, is we are people that love routine, we love security, we are comfortable there. We are animals of habit, which means we love to repeat the same routine over and over because we feel comfortable. And no one's like no one likes to change. No one likes to be uncomfortable. No one likes to be exposed to the unknown. No one likes to be learning new things because it's tough and it's painful. And maybe I'm not skilled enough and it's going to take me so much time. No one likes to be having pain, right? So this is the thing. Because the 99% of human beings, they love to remain where they are. They love to remain in the status quo because they don't want to change. Only 1% would really say, I want to feel the pain. I want to learn new things. I want to change. I want to be uncomfortable doing something that I never done before. And I want to be uncomfortable being curious because I will learn. So when you're going to be hiring resources or when you're going to be promoting resources, people, you want to hire for attitude, but mainly you want to hire for curiosity. You want to hire hungry people. You want to hire people that want to learn so bad. So there's this model of inquisitiveness, which means what? This is very simple. It's just to say the model of inquisitiveness is a way of managing, managing by questioning. There's a full philosophy that is out there where people manage their employees by questioning them, by asking them questions, not by telling them what to say or what to do. What if you just manage people by asking, why are you doing this? How are you going to do that? How do you think we should approach this problem? So the solutions are going to really bring so many answers and so many new innovative ways of really coping with it is what it is. Something that is extremely important in life and in organizations is we need to emphasize learning. Learning is the game. And when we talk about learning is we need to learn to learn. We need to learn how to learn fast. We need to learn how to unlearn things. And I repeat, it's very important to learn to unlearn. You say, what are you talking about? You need to be able to unlearn things that you learned in the past and they are not working anymore. You need to learn how to unlearn what is not giving you value. Everything that doesn't give you value should be eradicated, should be cut off. Very simple. Everything that doesn't add value should be eradicated. So you need to learn to let things go. You need to learn to unlearn what is not working. And you need to learn new things. Because learning new things is very painful. No one wants to spend hours or an hour or 2 hours a day learning things. And I tell you what, if you learn every day only 1 hour, you spend 1 hour learning something, in 5 years, you will be the most well-known expert in that field. Whatever it is, you just need 1 hour per day, which means 7 hours a week, which means close to 30 hours a month, times 52, times 5. You will put so many amounts of hours there's research showing that if you spend just 1 hour a day without excuses at any time that you choose to learn about a given topic, you will become an extremely high competent expert in whatever it is after 5 years. Because every day you hit 1 hour of learning something. And if you say, I never learned that and I don't know, it's impossible. Why? You want to learn, for example, programming. It's not impossible. It's not so difficult as people think. Spend an hour a day, and in 5 years, you will be a significant expert. And this is the fascinating thing. Whether you do that or not, time will pass regardless. So do you want to see yourself in 5 years as an expert in something? Or do you want to see yourself in 5 years like the same or worse as you were today? Because you've done nothing or you continue more of the same. The answer is your call. But when you understand that you can become an expert and time will run regardless if we run with the time or not. Time is flying. So whatever we do or we don't, time is going to go without us. So the choice is, do you want or not? So something that is interesting in organizations is, are we allowing our employees to explore their interest in the organization, to be curious, or we just tell them, you do this and that's it. Don't ask me anything, you should do nothing, right? The most important thing is allowing people to rotate, allowing people to explore their passions within the organization, because like that, they will discover what they love. And if they do what they love, it's a win-win for everyone. They will be more motivated. They will bring value to your organization. It's going to be amazing. So it's important to do that. And also, as we talked about this before, it's so important to have a why I do things. A why, very, very important. And also ask what would happen if, or what would be the situation if. And you say, what are you talking about? I'm talking about exactly questioning the way you do things today, questioning the why thing about doing the things you do today, and imagining scenarios of doing completely different things from what you do today in case something happens. Remember the idea of strategic heaven, or the idea of water, or the idea of liquidity. All of them are completely interconnected and are game-changing in people's organizations and people's lives. Now we'll talk a little bit about global trends. What is happening out there? So let me show you some crazy numbers, because this is mind-blowing, right? So these are statistics that I've been accumulating from different studies and data. And you can see that more than 650% increase in data science jobs are going to be taking place, in the future, and have been taking place in the last 5 years. Which means what? There's a clear tendency of everything that is data science, right? There's a tremendous increase. And this is just the last 5 years. Imagine what's going to happen in the future. So, and I can see that because I work in education, I work with ministries all the time, and ministries are imposing into universities since the very beginning, and to schools, that they include data science, bachelor's, data science, masters, and PhDs. Data science is going to be the game. Today, everything is about data, but you say, what? It's not data, it's connecting the dots of that data, knowing what to do with that data. That is key. Something that also is fascinating, and I'm part of that too, is that more than 40% of people working participate in what we call the new gig economy, or the crowd economy. What is that? Very simple. Most of my friends, as I was sharing with a lot of you when we were in person last month, most of my friends who are highly qualified and are, in high positions in their organizations or in the government, a lot of them, they have parallel jobs which are online, parallel jobs that includes consulting or running companies which are completely online. So they are part of this economy where everything is about fluidity, everything is about being part of the metaverse, being part of online businesses, because more and more people don't want to work anymore in a regular way. People don't want to work in offices anymore. People want to work in a completely fluid way where they can do whatever they want, when they want, and whatever they want, right? So that is the game. As I mentioned to a lot of you, I quit my job, which was a very demanding job, very high profile, but I quit my job, and today I run my operations. Whatever I do is online. I can do it from my house. I can do it from the beach. I can do it from Thailand, between my scuba dive sessions. I can do whatever I want in any place, anytime, and I just work like that, right? And I run my companies of metaverse like this, of smart contracts. Everything is online, but it's completely attuned with reality. And remember, the idea I told you before. It is what it is. The changes out there, they are what they are. They are good or they are bad. That's not the right question. The right question is, am I positioning myself in the right way to take advantage of that and make it a winner for me? Or am I being victimized and choosing a defeated position in my work and in my life? That, my friends, is the real question to ask, right? And look at this. More than 65% of middle school students will have jobs that are not yet invented, meaning you go to school and you know they are teaching you more of the same, but the jobs are changing completely. More and more you will start having jobs or job positions that are not invented yet, and things are changing. Have you heard about the Ministry of Happiness? Have you heard about Chief Happiness Officer? We were talking about that before, but there's a position called Chief Happiness Officer. This didn't happen before. Chief Information Officer. You say, what are you talking about? Yeah, Chief Knowledge Management Officer are positions that you say, what is that? I never heard about that. Well, this is just taking place, right? It's happening slowly, but there's some new positions emerging because people think sometimes robots will take over. I don't believe robots will take over. I'm not so catastrophic, but what I believe is the way we work today is not going to be the way we work tomorrow, and the positions we have today are not going to exist ever again in the future. We must reinvent ourselves. And this goes for every industry, for every business, for every position. So as I was saying before, close to 50% of jobs that we have today will disappear and will be gone in the next 10 years. These are statistics drawn from millions and millions of people and data. So most of the jobs, you know, I have a lot of my colleagues, friends, and people I know around the world and also in UAE, they are quitting their jobs because they are reinventing themselves and they're doing something completely different. And the funny thing is they work much less and they make much more money and very fast, very fast. And also something that is important to think is about this, robots and automation. Most of the jobs we have today are going to become automated. And statistics say by 2071, but I believe it's going to be much faster. I think that in the next 10 years, automation is going to be crazy because it's already happening. I give you some examples. There are some stores like supermarkets that have zero human intervention. In Singapore, you have this. In China, you have that. In Japan, you have that, where you have certain jobs, like supermarkets, for example, where someone enters, the merchandise is there, you put coins or money, and you just get your product and you get out. Or you can actually literally access the product with your hand and get it. But you know what? Before you enter, that's biometrics. They know exactly who you are, what time you enter, what is your weight, your data of your body, your heartbeats. Everything is scanned. Your eyes, your identity. You are completely naked at the eyes of biometrics. And then once you do that, you just scan the barcode and you go, and that's it. And it's like a scanner, and you just move and all the scan is done and you pay with your credit card. Like scanning, no need for a human intervention. This is a reality, my friends, and it's happening already. There was a beautiful study made on anticipating disruption in different industries. And you see, when you think about education, education is the fourth least disrupted industry. And the funny thing is that because of COVID, because of all these impediments that we are facing because of COVID, things are changing and the disruption is exponential right now. All these industries going from wealth management and fintech to media and everything in between is going disrupted like there's no tomorrow, meaning everything is changing. The way we were doing before business is completely disrupted and changed. Today, if you know what, they're buying hotels and property through NFTs. And also, as opposed to selling, for example, a hotel that is worth $40-50 million to a person, they create that hotel into NFTs where if you have not much money, but you want to buy part of the hotel, as a crowdfunding, you can buy an NFT with $200 and you have a little chip of that hotel. And some people may put some millions, some people will put $500,000, some people will put some hundreds, some people will put 50s, but some people will put $200, and everyone owns the hotel in a prorated fashion. But everyone owns that through NFTs. And this is completely just the tip of the iceberg, because this is just getting started, to show you how disruption is taking place. When you think about insurance, also insurance is fascinating because more and more insurance companies are changing completely. Before you would take an insurance per year or per month. Today you can take an insurance per minute. How many minutes are you going to be driving the car from here to there, or per location, and that's it. Or every time I go to that location, I have the insurance. Outside, no. So it's very interesting because we are starting to customize the offerings in the most unexpected ways, by surprise. Remember the surprise idea, to our customers. So things are changing crazily, in a very crazy fashion. And this has been possible because of design thinking mindset, where you really change the way you think. And to learn that, I mean, there are so many processes and procedures to follow and to understand and put together. But there's workshops of 3-4 days, full day, where you can really change your life. You can change your organization and the nature of the operations by applying a design thinking mindset and learning the processes in 3-4 days, which is crazy. Today, another global trend is ecosystems. Everyone is talking about ecosystems. Everyone is talking about, well, what is going to be the ecosystem in my organization, as opposed to talking about the old ways of Porter. Let's talk about who are my competitors, who are my suppliers, what are the substitute products. Right now we're talking about ecosystems. We're talking about all the clusters of players and companies in the world, in the business landscape. So ecosystems means what? Well, the ecosystem means who are going to be all the players in a given industry, in a given landscape of different industries, and how we are going to be putting them together. Because today what is interesting is that every industry is going to borrow and use principles from other industries and put them together and work like that and create this ecosystem. And I give you an example. Imagine that you have a bank. You are part of a bank, right? And in the bank, when you go to the bank more and more, they're using hospitality principles, right, to operate the bank. They're using how to host a guest, how to serve the best coffee, hospitality from hotels, how to entertain. This is from the entertainment industry. How to entertain my host while he or she is waiting. What would be the best croissant or the best food I can offer that is healthy, gluten-free, whatever, to my host? Also, fashion. I start decorating. The banks are starting more and more to decorate their offices, have certain type of wood, certain type of furniture. They come from the fashion industry, you see? So more and more industries, regardless what they are starting to really use principles from other industries to put them together. And you say, what is this? Reality is there's no one single industry that does not use principles of other industries. So today, everything is a fusion. Everything is amalgamated. Everything is combined. And there's no more a single industry doing only this or that. More and more companies will start working together to help each other, using different principles together, fashion with entertainment, with digital, with media, with logistics, with hospitality, with restoration, you name it. All the services have tended to become part of the same in different ways. And they use the different principles to do the same. So there's no more single industries. More and more, we are going to be talking about amalgamated ecosystems where we use the principles of different industries to run our own industry. So this is how it's going. And more we are going towards digital transformation, where everything that is metaverse, avatars, digitization of business, NFTs, digital land, everything is coming together and combining all the different principles. So we are almost done, guys, and then we will talk. How to really prepare for a borderless economy, how we can prepare for an economy that is completely without limits. Well, the first thing is we need to adopt an ecosystem mindset. We need to understand that competitors can create opportunities, and we have to see competitors as potential enablers of what we do. And we need to see other industries as potential contributors to the principles that they have, that we can use them in our own company. So adopting an ecosystem mindset is the winning game. Today in the companies I run is what we do. We try to partner all the time, even with competitors, because together we can enlarge the cake, we can have more customers, we can have a larger community, we can have more users. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. A second idea of how to prepare for this future world that is shaping us and we are shaping is we need to follow the data. We need to connect the dots. We need to really be able to connect the dots and understand what is happening, to understand the big picture. Because you don't need to be a specialized person on something. You need to have a strategic mindset. You need to really see the big picture and see how the puzzle and the different pieces of the puzzle move, and where things are missing, where we can put that part of the puzzle. Another critical element to be successful in today's economy is building strong ties, emotional ties with customers and users, for a variety of reasons. But the main reason is customer experience. We want to really have a customer experience that is delightful for our users. And the way to do that is always understanding what they need, what they want, what they feel, and put them at the real of our operations. And I remember we have some discussions last time in person where we were talking about, I was telling everyone to say, listen, I know the challenges in Nigeria, I know the challenges in Africa, but you don't have to penalize the customer for that, and the customer should not be feeling that you are not doing a good job. What about changing the position and bringing the customer hand to hand from the very inception of the process and work with them so the customer knows exactly what you're doing. So when something happens, we are on the same page and we are not enemies anymore. We are allies to think in an innovative way to cope with these situations. Everything, my friends, is about position. The position is key, because how you position yourself is going to change the power dynamics of the game. Never forget that. Your position changes the power dynamics of the game. So here, a last principle that is related to this is changing your partnership paradigm. And that means what? Well, you need to really be able to understand pretty much your potential strategic partners and see how together you can attack what I call white spaces, which are virgin spaces that you can penetrate big time, because are spots in the markets which are untapped or not well served, and you can change the game completely. Because when you find those white spaces, which are virgin spaces, you can really, in collaboration with your partners and even your consumers, you can together do something to change the game. Again, what is fascinating to me is when people talk about the future and they say, well, you know, in the future, this is going to happen. In the future, these are the jobs of the future. And in the future, we're going to be having this or that. And the truth is, that's a fallacy, meaning no one has no clue what's going to happen in the future. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. No one could have ever anticipated that COVID would kill millions of people, that COVID would stop a full economy worldwide. No one would have ever anticipated that COVID would make people lose their jobs like there's no tomorrow and really disrupt supply chains. Just a little virus, a little flu, almost destroyed the universe. And thanks God, we are moving out from that. We are still not out of the woods. But the future fallacy is about no one knows what's going to happen in the future. We have ideas, we have projections, but the reality is everything can change in a flip of a second. Everything. You know, and when people talk about robots will dominate, that's part of a future fallacy. It's not true. No one knows. No one can have a clue of what's going to happen with robots. No one have a clue what's going to happen with avatars and with metaverse. No one knows nothing. We are just doing and inventing ourselves and our worlds while we do on a daily basis in an emergent fashion, right here, right now. But for the future, trust me, no one has no clue. Otherwise, you know, we wouldn't be here. But what we know is something. The strongest species, the strongest human beings, the strongest entities are the ones that can really be fluid like water, are the ones that can adapt to change. We are not talking about physical strength. We are not talking about intelligence, how intelligent you are. We are talking about an intelligent agility, which is a completely different game. So adapting to change, that's the winning position all the time. And when we talk about literacy, it's not those who cannot read or write today who are illiterate, but are the ones that cannot learn or relearn new things. Those are the ones that are going to suffer and are going to have issues, because at the end of the day, if we are not able to forget, and there's something that is called strategic, look what I'm going to tell you, strategic forgetting. It's strategic, it's a strategy to forget. Sounds crazy, it's so real. Strategic forgetting means learn to forget what is useless. Learn to forget people that hurt you. Learn to forget and let go. Because when you strategically determine the things that are not good enough and you need to let go and you forget them, that's a very important skill to keep space for your mind to learn new things. So that is so, so important. And another very important idea is what is called the creative destruction, which means what? Slowly but steadily, you are always distracting and breaking whatever is not working good enough and creating new things all the time. So it's always moving forward through reinventing things and the way you do things. If you say, I want to start saving more time and more time over time in the way I work, well, every day try to have little twists to do that. So a certain time, a certain point over time, you will learn to really eradicate ways of working that are consuming too much time for you. And you will become an expert of working fast, efficient, smart, not much, and making much more money. This is a reality. And our last slide is I'll talk about some few takeaways to close up this workshop today. First, learn to adopt a design thinking mindset with the 6 principles I gave you. Remember, empathy, human-centered, prototyping, a culture of doing, show me, don't tell me, radical collaboration, all these kind of principles, very, very important. 2, you need to develop an ecosystem cosmovision. And cosmovision means the way I see cosmos, the way I see the world. Ecosystem means how can I see the big picture and integrate different stakeholders together so we can create value and enlarge the cake on whatever we do. Another main idea that I love it and I think that is so powerful is develop the capacity to learn and relearn, because like this, you will not just survive, but you will thrive in whatever environment to where you are exposed. You will be fascinated by the powerful thing that is strategic forgetting. You want to forget things, to give space to useful things. And something that I find this as a logo in my life, and I invite you to think about that, is engage more in exploring, discovering, trying new things in a playful fashion. Don't take yourself too serious and learn to imagine and to play, because through having a curious mindset, as I talked before, curiosity is going to create magnificent results when you really ask yourself continuously, what about this? Why I'm doing this? Why I didn't stop doing this? Why I'm still doing this? These kind of things are going to change your mind. Thank you so much. And we spent a little bit more than 1 hour talking. So I'm very happy to be here for you guys and spend some time, if you want, with some comments or sharing or questions. I'm going to stop sharing right now so we can talk.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, Martin. That was very insightful. Actually, I could listen to you for another extra hour, to be honest, because there's so much information now. And, you know, lots of things that, you know, it's took my mind into like a different space. So I'm sure that we certainly have questions here. But before we go to that, I will just, you know, go into what you said about curiosity, creating magnificent results. So, you know, having that curious mind and, you know, and not being so serious all the time, and, you know, being playful in, you know, the way you conduct yourself, obviously not to anybody's detriment, but just to have that kind of, should I say, that relaxed approach to life. Because when you're normally in that relaxed state, you probably are able to absorb more information, isn't it? And
completely.
You probably, you know, completely. Yeah, you identify things more when you're in that relaxed state. So I think that's a big takeaway, definitely for me there.
You know, there's a book, there's a two things. There's a book that is called Think Slow, Act Fast.
Think Slow, Act Fast. And who wrote that book?
I have to check it, but it's fascinating. It's about thinking very slow. You say, what are you talking about? It's about being relaxed, being in a state of relaxation, so you can really perceive more really what is happening. Things around, things that are happening around you, and things can change completely in the way you do things. Because when you think slow, you give time to process things. Today, we are invaded by stimuli, we are invaded by social media. We have 1,000 Instagram pops up and phones. Look, I'm talking to you and look at my phone. You see?
Yeah.
Bombarded by, I say, what is this? And maybe one or two of those ones are important. The rest are like, blum, 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 useless. So forget about that. Forget, just focus. Like now, we focus on this. Think slow. You know, and this is a reality that is important, because when, like the martial arts, learn to think slow. Don't go like, oh my God, calm down, focus, you know, focus, funnel your energy. And when you're focused, you can act fast, very fast, but you need to think slow.
Right. Okay, that's fantastic. That's fantastic, Martin. Thank you so much for that. The Ni Adesoya think tank is actually thinking and acting fast, shall I say, because in Dubai, we had the Minister of Happiness, actually, in the name of Yinka, if I'm correct. I don't know how many people got to meet her, but she introduced herself to me. She said that, think of me as your minister of happiness. So anything that you do not like or not happy about, I'm your lady. So that was absolutely fantastic, actually, to know that the Ni Adesoya think tank is moving ahead.
Yes.
Times like
Completely.
said, definitely. So I don't know if Yinka's on tonight, but Yinka did a fantastic job in Dubai. So yeah, kudos to Yinka. So I hope you all had an interaction with her. She always had a smile, and I hope that you'll be all incorporating that into your organizations as well. So this is now time for you to ask questions of Martin. Can I just remind everybody, in case you haven't had the time, as I said to you, Dubai was only, what, 4 weeks ago now? But I'm literally still unraveling my experience of Dubai as we speak. So I hope you've all had a moment to have a look at the slides, because they were emailed to you. So the slides that Martin has just kindly finished for us now have been emailed to you already. So you actually have those slides. So if you've already been through them before, well done. And if you haven't before, the slides already, so you can have a look at them, and you know, you'll be able to understand what we've been talking about today. So I am now going to open the floor and invite questions. Anybody have a question? Can you just put your hand up for us? Put your virtual hand up there, and then I'll invite you to ask a question.
Someone is talking about the strategic forgetting.
Does somebody want to? If you have a question,
I just hope he's not trying to tell you that he has forgotten everything about the slide before now.
strategic forgetting. Who's been talking about strategic forgetting?
You explain to us what it means.
Okay, if you have background noise, can you just mute your mic for me? Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Can I say with strategic forgetting, it's something that we all certainly need to do?
Strategic forgetting is fundamental, because that's a real new concept that is about really, like a sniper, targeting which things are not useful anymore, and we still continue doing. So we need to target, like a sniper, those things that are, like, you know, not useful for us in our lives anymore for a variety of reasons, and let them go, because you need to forget them. So strategic forgetting is a very intentional act of saying, I need to let this go from my memory. It doesn't work anymore. These ways of working, that they don't work anymore. These processes are very primitive. They are taking too much time. I need to let them go, to let a new, more smart process emerge, or to learn new things, to occupy that space that at some point was occupied by old thoughts. Strategic forgetting is about giving birth to new ways of doing things which are more relevant and attuned to today's society, to go better with reality. It is what it is, but the position you occupy is the game, and strategic forgetting is going to let you get new tools to be in a winning position.
Fantastic. So it might not always be easy, though. Can I just add that strategic forgetting might not be easy, because it's it will take you through an emotional process, isn't it? And some of the memories, you know, can be quite powerful and quite overwhelming. So,
but I love what you say. I fully agree, because the thing is, strategic forgetting means to have a small ego, means to have this, like, you know, Buddha would say, the secret of happiness is to let go. And it's a very powerful statement. Or the secret of happiness is zero expectations. Another powerful statement, but it's so real, because I don't think that we are capable of doing that. At least most human beings, we are not. But to a certain extent, we can learn to reduce expectations, so we are delighted by not expecting too much, and we are delighted and surprised by beautiful things because we don't expect them. And also we learn to let go of things because we are not emotionally attached too much, and we understand that we are in a journey of learning. Life is a journey. It's not a destination. It's a process. So when you let things go, strategic forgetting becomes much easier. And when your life, look, I can talk for I have a beautiful example myself is I've been working in a very formal fashion for the last 25 years. And last year, as I shared with everyone, I quit my job, a very high position, very well paid. I quit my job because I say, this is not useful for me anymore. And, you know, I know there's emotional connection with my position, the status, and that. Okay, but today I'm so happy that happened. And I allow myself to let go because I am in a much better position in my life. I have much more time, much more money, much more freedom. And I'm reinventing everything. And I do whatever I want when I want. And it's not a joke. I mean it, you know?
Okay.
I mean it. I can travel whenever I want. I can work whenever I want on things I like and I choose, you know, because it's a passion to me. So, and that is about strategic forgetting because you need to have the guts to let go because you give space to new things to emerge. And in your life is that, you know, the caterpillar, that is this little disgusting thing, that is a little animal, the butterfly, you know, it's a caterpillar, it's very disgusting. But at some point, the caterpillar, the little cross, has to fall, and the caterpillar has to let go the protection and be completely vulnerable. Why? Because it's going to become a beautiful butterfly, and it's going to be flying, and it's going to be experiencing the wind and the breeze in the air for free, you know, and showing off their colors. Sounds crazy, but it's nature is showing us. We need to let go, to learn, to let new things emerge and be born again for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Martin. So I hope we've got the clear definition now of strategic forgetting, and we can all apply that process to our lives. I'm just going to invite Abioye Oke to ask the question. Can you unmute your mic, please?
All right, thank you so much, Kemi. And thank you so much, Prof. Martin. It feels so good to see you for the second time, though virtually this time. Thank you so much for your depth of knowledge you've shared with us this evening. You know, in your lecture, you spoke about creating a borderless economy. And you said one of the greatest factors to creating a borderless economy is by ensuring that you create an ecosystem where, and collaboration also takes a lot of, plays a lot of role in creating a unique ecosystem because we need to borrow from different industries. And that means we need to create a lot of partnerships, you know, in creating an entirely new concept. So my question to you, Prof, is that when you are creating those partnerships, because for you to create a robust ecosystem, you've got to collaborate with different people with different skill sets. So how best do you think such a partnership should be structured without watering down what creates the right motivation for you yourself? Because people with specialized skills typically they can be very demanding, you know, in terms of their stake in the project or in the concept, you know, and creating something very disruptive requires a lot of different skill sets. So how will you advise in making such a partnership work and having a robust ecosystem in the process?
Something that is, your question is very relevant because something that is extremely important when choosing partners is like choosing, you know, your life partner or your wife or your husband. You need a set of criteria, and it's not a joke. You really need to have a set of criteria in place and advance that criteria. And that criteria generally is completely related to the nature of your operations, but mainly to the vision and mission of your company. You need to really set this criteria to make sure that whoever is going to be working with you as a strategic partner for the long run fits very well the culture of your organization, fits very well the vision that you have and the values you have in your organization, because with this type of people, you really want to work in a very smooth fashion and create value. So one of the key success factors for ecosystem development and strategic partner choosing is first the selection criteria, and making sure that that selection criteria is very well advanced and you have it very clear. And when you meet people, you actually pass a kind of interview, if you want, or companies, to make sure that they fit the criteria. Because having the criteria alone is not enough. You really need to implement that criteria, and you really need to make sure that that criteria is fulfilled as much as possible by your partners. You don't want to, I give you an example. Again, talking about that, I work with a lot of people and a lot of CEOs from different companies. And I run myself 3 companies. And in these 3 companies, I have different partners because I want partners for certain things in each of those companies. And the partners I choose are people that are completely compatible with my mindset and with my company. And you will be surprised. 2 of my partners, they don't speak English. And you say, but how do you communicate? Well, I meet them regularly in Dubai. They travel around the world all the time, and like me, but they more. And when we meet, you say, but how do you work together? Well, we have applications where they speak Vietnamese or Thai, and I speak whatever language I speak, and it translates to them in Thai or Vietnamese or whatever. And we work like that with applications, on the phone. And I talk, and he answers me something, and I receive that in the language I choose. And we work like that. And then he can write me stuff, and I put translate automatically live in front of him. We go for coffee, we go for beers, we go dining at night, and we talk like that. And we are with the phone all the time. And I have this, what you see right now with my thing. So when he talks, I hear, and he too, if we are in a club, it's not a joke. And you say, but why you choose this guy? You are crazy. He doesn't speak. No. But he shares very close my values, my craziness. He's very open-minded. He loves to explore. He tries to engage in risky situations with me in businesses, things that are on top. He's not afraid. So these are things that I really value. Of course, I always said I would like to communicate in my same language or languages I speak. But if I don't, it's okay, because all this weight of other criteria are so powerful that I don't mind at all if you don't speak my language, and we have to use an application to go ahead. So criteria is very important, but the priority of criteria should be always values. Values, I mean, the way we work. I'm crazy and spontaneous. These guys too, I love to explore, and I'm very curious. These people too. These people, we can talk at midnight. I don't mind. And they are the same. They ring me sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't care. We talk, and it's fine with me. Or they tell me, I want to see you. We have to meet these clients. Let's go. And he tells me that at 10 o'clock, and he told me be there at 11:30 p.m. It's okay. I'm like that. I don't care, So these are things that for me are important, and it's okay. So you really need to choose people an organization that they react like you, they operate like you, and you have to have that common grounds to be able to succeed. So setting a set of criteria and making priorities of those criteria is one of the key for ecosystem building. Second idea on that one to close the answer, because I can give you so many answers, but is to find out what can we bring to the table together. What can you bring? What can I bring? What can he bring? What can she bring? So we make sure that whoever sits at the table is going to bring a beautiful dish to be eaten. Metaphorically speaking, everyone must contribute to something that is important for the rest, and we are all gonna like. So we need to contribute either networks, capital, cash, connections, open doors, craziness, new ideas, experts in innovation, IT, expert, you name it, I don't care. But we need to find ways to complement each other and enhance each other's values and grow together hand by hand. So this is like a mapping of which are the things you can offer me and which are the things I can offer you. It's not I take and I don't care. No, I take, but I want to give you so much, and I want you to take, and I want you to give me a lot. We are in a long term. We are not in zero-sum game where, you know, I play you, I got you, thank you. No, I want you for the long run. I'm not doing that. I want to make sure you will win, winning with me, because you will stay and you will bring me more and you will give me more and you will trust me. So I want to make sure I make an effort to make sure you win, because if you win, I'm going to win much more, and vice versa. So those are two key things that I would really suggest to have in your mind.
Well, that's brilliant. Does that answer the question for you, Abioye?
Thank you, Kemi. Yes, it does. Thank you, Prof. Probably if I would just want him to just expatiate a little more is how, when everybody has brought things, the equity, for example, will it be based on what everybody has brought to the table? Thank you, Martins.
I fully agree with you. Equity, when we talk about equity distribution, should be done not based on friendship. As much as I like you a lot, is what do you put on the table? And what you put on the table, what is the potential of return on investment? What is this bringing me in terms of monetary unit? What value are you bringing me? And what value am I bringing to you? So this is a fair discussion. And if we're going to go for the long run, it's very important to be very honest and be straight on the face on a table, because if I, you know, don't tell you that, oh, I feel I'm putting much more than you and I contributing much more and I go 50-50, I will feel frustrated and I will make sure this will not work over time and I will be frustrated and I will boycott the thing, or vice versa. Very important, be fair, be transparent, be consensual, but be fair. Remember, you do something because you want the other person to grow or the company to grow. You want to grow too, but the other too. So, and vice versa. So the mindset is, how can we grow together? Not how we can divide. I want to enlarge because I don't want to divide too much. I want to enlarge the cake. I don't want to cut small slices. I want to have a bigger cake. How can we make it bigger? That's the game in negotiation. And that's the game in equity distribution.
Thank you, Martin. Are you okay with that then now, Abioye? Is that fully answered for you? Okay, brilliant, thank you. Okay, Abolade Adedigba, do you still have a question?
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Madam Kemi. Part of my question has been answered by Prof, but I still want to put this across to Prof. I would like him to be more direct or to be more precise. Now, talking about the ecosystem, you know, ecosystem means seeing the future in a big way. And then you want to get there before every other people get there. So now, you are already in the future. How do you convince people to embrace innovation? You have a system that is really going to be more useful in the future. It's useful now. It makes a lot of things easier now. It makes people to get more value now, but because it's an innovation, it's not what, it's a system they are not really useful. So how can you convince people? How do you help them to buy innovations? Thank you.
I understand. So one of the most important ways to do that, or most practical ways to do that, is to be able to find what we call a lead customer, early adopter, something that is going to adopt your technology as soon as possible and is very powerful. And that is called a lead customer, someone that leads. And you say, what are you talking about? Well, if you manage, and I will give you the case, I have exactly that case right now. One of my companies is called EasyChain. And actually, guys, we should talk at some point about this, like for your business and stuff. And I will give you an example right now, live, for real. You say, I have this company called EasyChain. I'm the CEO of this company. And this company is a smart contract company that can reduce significantly by 50, 60, 70, 80% your expenses, the way you deal with contracts of any kind. And it's blockchain based, and I can tell you a lot of technical things. The point is, you say, I don't know, I'm afraid, I don't know, I'm used to do this by contracts, signing or whatever, or I have my connections. I understand. But you know, it's difficult for you to see benefits as much as I can tell you so many things. You say, okay, but imagine that now you see me in the newspapers in Africa, in Nigeria, you see me, you know, shaking hands with a very powerful CEO of a telecommunication company that he says, I adopted Easy Chain technology, I'm doing this, I'm working on this, and I managed to reduce cost by this amount %, and I managed to do this, and I will continue working, and I suggest this, that my clients use this. What do you think is going to happen? Everyone suddenly will say, I want this chain right now. Where is this guy? I want, you know, I don't need to convince everyone. I just need to get 1 or 2 very powerful clients, work very tight with them in special conditions to really help them, make a difference for them, and then they will become my ambassador, and we are going to appear on social media everywhere, and everyone will say, I want that technology right now. Who is this guy? And you will not be able to fulfill the demand because people will come like crazy to you. And this is a real example. I'm doing that right now. I'm signing contract with the ministries in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Dubai, right? And we go to India next week, and I go to Vietnam in 2 weeks. This is the game. We are going to appear in the news everywhere, and these very powerful CEOs of companies will be on the media. They will be the pioneers. You know, it's going to be great for the companies. It's going to be great for me too, for my company. We will grow, and suddenly the demand across nations, including Africa, and remember what I'm telling you, you will see Easy Chain everywhere, because this will happen. It's about working with strategic partners to build this ecosystem, because if those guys, only one adopts that, then all the suppliers will start adopting that, and the suppliers of the suppliers will be adopting that, and the ecosystem start going like crazy, you know, and everyone sees the benefits. So that's the way to go. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Martin. Thank you for your question, Abolade. Is there anybody else that has a question? This is your opportunity now to be able to explore and explore into the mind of Martin. This crazy mind, as he says, this craziness that he talks about. You can explore. You have your free
Very crazy
to explore this crazy mind right now. Okay, so we've got a question from Toba.
I think we have someone on the chat asking a question.
Okay, and there's Toba Peters. You just want to
Toba Peters raised the hand.
yeah. So Toba, do you want to unmute yourself, please?
Toba, you need to, yeah.
Oh, Toba, can you unmute yourself, or could you unmute?
Okay, okay. Sorry about that. Well done, Prof. I really appreciate. Thank you so much, Kemi. My question is there any tendency that this business ecosystem can fail? And if the answer is yes, what can we do to prevent that from happening?
The main issue is that I don't think an ecosystem can fail. What I think that we can fail is to make an ecosystem, which is a different question. I would say once a lot of people start using something, a new technology, for example, and you create a critical mass of users and people the more you have users, the more people use that. And the more people use that, the more successful you become. And the more successful all the stakeholders in the ecosystem become. So the main challenge is how to build up an ecosystem with the right partners, and how these effects of trickling down and dissemination of that technology is going to take place. The way you fail is when you fail to identify and to gain the trust of one lead user that is going to support you in your journey. Because if no one is using your technology, you will fail to make the ecosystem and your product will die. But if you manage through connections and through good narrative and explaining in a good way products, and be open-minded enough to find ways to get to the mind and heart to one lead user, the game is on. And this is just going more and more. The secret is developing ambassadors for your technology, developing people that really will support what you do and pioneer your efforts for them, because they are winning. And by them winning and you supporting their success, what you're doing is you are winning with them. So an ecosystem, when it goes, doesn't fail. The failure comes from not being able to do the ecosystem. However, at some point, over time, an ecosystem can fail, as you said. And once it's built, an ecosystem can fail. And why is that? Because if an ecosystem continues doing more of the same, when it's not working anymore, and there's new technologies emerging, and the ecosystem does not forget strategically. Remember we talked about that? If the ecosystem does not forget strategically and is fixated in a way of doing things with blinders and continue doing the same because it's the only thing they know, well, at some point the ecosystem will fail, because new technologies will emerge, new ecosystems will grow, and this new ecosystem will disrupt and destroy the old ecosystem. Why? Because the technology is not evolved enough. And a beautiful example of that is going to be metaverse. In metaverse, today people are afraid, and there's a lot of metaverse projects here and there, and people don't understand, and people are skeptical, and it's okay. But as soon as this grows and people start getting into the ecosystem is going to fly. But right now, it's a battle of who's going to dominate, what are going to be the best metaverse, and there's a battle for ecosystem, creation. So the failing comes first, establishing the ecosystem with a lead user, and two, unless you update your technology on your ways of doing things in the ecosystem, and you create through strategic forgetting. If you don't grow through strategic forgetting, you will fail in the ecosystem at some point, because we are all blinded to something. So it's like group thinking. Group thinking is a very nasty place to be. You don't want to be in group thinking, because if we all agree, we all are bodies and we all think the same and everything is the same, it's very bad, because we will not innovate and we will collapse, because we are not seeing reality as it is. We see reality as we want to see as a group. That's why, coming back to the question that was put forward before by Abioye, he said, how do you choose your partners, or how do you do that? And well, one of the criteria for me is working with someone that has similar values and similar mindset, but doesn't mean that think like me. Means you are crazy, I'm crazy, that's good, because we are crazy enough to challenge each other and challenge what we do. You are curious, me too. Doesn't mean we agree. Means that I'm curious and I will be questioning why you do that, or you will question me why you do that. So by questioning and putting me against the wall and vice versa, the truth emerges. So I want to work with people that are going to challenge me. I'm not going to flatter my ego. I don't care. I want to win. So I want winners next to me that are going to be alpha and strong enough to question me. That's what I want. I don't want pleasers. I want people that provoke me and tell me you are wrong. And I say, thank you, show me, teach me. I want to be better. I want those people. I don't want I don't want people that are pleasers. I hate pleasers. Come and slap me and tell me, I don't like what you do. Great. I hope you have a compelling argument, because otherwise I will shut you down. But you need to tell me why. That is the people I want. Challenge us with compelling arguments. So you will not fail. If you have pleasers, you will fail 100%. If you have challengers, you will never fail. Your best friend is the one that is going to tell you you are not good, but you could be very good. Your best friend is going to tell you you are not nice today, or you are ugly today. Why? Because you could be beautiful. Those are your best friends.
Wow, thank you for that, Martin. You've just actually caused me to strategically forget something. That's amazing. So your best friends are the people who challenge you consistently and not necessarily in a wide way. So the yes men, the pleasers,
people that love you will tell you the truth. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Oh gosh. And those are the ones that you just naturally just want to get out of your circle. They say, drop toxic people. So you automatically label them as toxic people and you automatically want to drop them. But you're saying embrace those people. Those are the ones
because those are the ones that are going to make you grow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out to everybody quickly. Especially in the organizations that you run. I mean, how easy is that for you all to do? In Nigeria, especially, because
we put them like troublemakers, but actually often, not always, but troublemakers with a compelling argument are your best friends. Troublemakers for the sake of making trouble, I don't want them. I want them away. But troublemakers, and I repeat, with a compelling argument, don't tell me this is not good and run away. I don't listen to you. But if you tell me this is not good because, and you give me reasons and are compelling, I'm going to listen.
Well, I think that's given everybody something to think about. So we've got a question here from Fumilayo Elegme, which says, hold on a second. She says, how do you manage someone that doesn't want to hear the truth, but will always say she doesn't want yes people, and they're not ready to hear the truth, or someone asking her questions about her decisions? So someone who's saying that they want people who are challenging, but then they really don't.
I know, and that's a very tricky one, and it's very challenging because more often than not, we hate the truth. We hate the truth, and we say we want to hear the truth. Tell me the truth, but you are begging on your knees that people will not tell you the truth, and there will be pleasers, even though you say I want. So that's human nature, Very few people would really mean when they say, tell me the truth, I want to learn and grow, and if I have to change who I am or what I'm doing or the way I'm thinking to grow, I will have to. It's very painful and uncomfortable, but I want to. But generally people don't want that. So be careful when people say, tell me the truth, because generally they're telling you, please lie to me. I don't want to hear. People that really tell me the truth, I'm going to show you constantly that they listen to you, they take your ideas into consideration, and they really would question and be curious about why you said that. Can you give me an example? So what should we do? We really inquire about your position, as opposed to saying, okay, So when you say dealing with someone that doesn't want to hear the truth is very tough. It's very tough, and generally, sometimes there's not much you can do, because if you don't want to hear, you don't want to hear. And as much as you put everything on the table, they will reject you, and they will even punish you. So, and you say, what can I do? Few things, but one of the things that generally I would do would be ask questions that the answer is embedded in the question. So the person is going to be thinking, you will understand the message very well, but you are just asking. You are not saying something bad. You just ask about something, and in that question, the answer is embedded in that question. and you ask something that, you know, is a statement, but it's a question, and the person will be thinking about that at some point. And if it's not, there's not much you can do, because you will get, you know, retaliation, or you will get punished, or you will get rejected, or, you know, you're talking to an empty mind. So one of the ways I would recommend to do that is by making a soft, constructive question, well-intentioned, but showing that, you know, there's something that is not working, but what do you think we should do? Should we do this or this or that? Like putting the power on the other person, because you want to show that actually it's not your idea, it's the idea of him or her. And in the very same question, you kind of provide clues and answers, and you make it show that this is from you, it's not from me. It's your mind, it's not mine. So there's not an ego battle, but you're passing the message. So remember, having a small ego is very important in these situations. Giving the power to the other person by asking the right questions, as we said before, and the right question will really trigger the right answer, and you will show that there's other ways of doing things that maybe we don't do, but through asking, you are implying this is not working at all. We should do something different. But the answer comes from them, not from you. So the ego and the resistance is much lower from the side.
Brilliant. Brilliant. For me, I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much, Martin. Martin, honestly, time with you always just runs like it just.
It's 9 o'clock. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
I know, it just goes on supersonic fast forward. But I have a question that I need to ask you. And I'm really sorry, Ni Adesanya. I am very sorry, but please just give me a moment of your time, please.
Sure.
Martin, so the question that I have for you is, I know you said strategically forget, you know.
You like that, eh? You like that a lot.
That thing. Honestly, that's my thing right now. I'm taking that away. But, you know, where you have people who do challenge you in your organization, and they may not be the nicest people, so they don't challenge you constructively. They're very brutal in the way they approach things, and they're very blunt. And they just speak anyhow, in essence. I want to know what your process is. How do you deal with, you know, like emotionally, how do you now deal with that when you're faced in a very difficult circumstance with somebody who's really kind of brutal and you know, not very nice or kind in the way that they challenge you?
I love the question, and that's very, very interesting, because this happens a lot. And remember something that we talked today, that is, it is reality, it is what it is. Including, for example, someone like this coming to you very aggressively or with a very patronizing tone and criticizing too much and not having compelling arguments, just criticizing for the sake of criticizing. So what is fundamental is, it is what it is, but the most important thing is the position you take, meaning, are you going to be the puppet or are you going to be the puppeteer? So, in other words, am I going to react as you want me to react because you attack me and you are patronizing? Or am I going to look at you, smile, wish you a very good morning, offer you a cup of coffee, and disarm you with kindness?
Okay.
Because that's my game. And I put the rules, and you are my puppet. Just give you just an example. So, am I going to be in tactical hell, where I'm all over the place and I don't know what to do and I react to things? Or I'm going to be in strategic heaven, where I say, I am the master, I'm the puppeteer, I'm going to have a hiatus, a space of thinking slow, what's happening, and act fast. Smile, you are thinking, and then reacting like, thank you very much, this is very interesting. I hope you have an amazing morning. Would you like to sit with me and have a coffee? You do exactly the opposite that the person is expecting, surprising, very kind, not reacting, and the person will melt and will feel so uncomfortable eventually that she or he will leave the office on his or her own. When
Wow.
you're inviting to come closer to me. The person will hate you and run away. And you are with a smile. Who won? Did you fight? No. Have you been kind? Yes. Did you manage the situation completely? You get power? No. I took all the power because I give you a smile when you are insulting me, but a smile that is sincere, not a sarcastic smile. Like, so nice to see you. Please, let's have a coffee together. The morning is amazing. Thank you for your ideas. I really appreciate it. I will think about that. Let's have a coffee. How do you like it? Let's spend time together. That's it. And people will run away.
I think you have to be a true master of your emotions.
Oh, yes. To do
that.
Remember, zero ego is the key to winning fights. Don't put your ego. Don't think you are powerful and big and you can never underestimate the opponent. Opponent could be a person like this or resistance. Never, regardless the size, never underestimate.
Wow.
But at the same time, other people should never underestimate you. Because if you pull out one of those ones, you will destroy the weapons of the enemy. You will destroy the opponent in front of you. He will or she will never expect your reaction like that. Because you have the power, you are not giving the power away.
Okay. Right, that's fabulous. Thank you very much for answering that for me, Martin. I do appreciate. I hope you're all able to glean something from that also, because I think it's a really big challenge, to be completely and 100% in control of your natural reactions and your emotions. So that's something for me especially to grow in. So that's fantastic. Thank you for that. Well, our time, as I said, always runs so fast when we have Martin in our presence. I think he speeds up time in some particular way. So our time has actually come to an end, unfortunately. But at this very moment in time, I'm going to hand over to the great mind of the business think tank, and that is Nii Adesoya. Please give him a warm welcome. We can't hear you very well. Oh, is it just me?
No, me too. I cannot hear you very well.
Okay, can you unmute yourself? First of all, your mic says it's still mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, now yes.
Good. Okay, good. Let me start by saying a big thank you to Martin. Martin, thank you so much for accepting to complete your teachings with us. And definitely by now you should know that there is a relationship already forming. No, sorry, forming. Sorry,
I'm very happy and delighted and honored.
A relationship already formed. And then we're going to take it up from here. And then definitely you are part of our ecosystem right now. And then you
I'm
never
delighted.
be,
Thank you.
I don't think you'll be the one that will strategically forget. We won't strategically forget you at all. So thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you for everything. Looking forward to bringing you to Nigeria one of these days, but we'll work that out.
Looking forward.
By the grace of God. And then, good. And then also let me say a big thank you to Kemi. Kemi, a darling as always. Thank you so much for anchoring this. You did it so perfectly well. I guess you've been doing this for like forever. And I mean like forever. So I'd like to say thank you for holding forth. Kemi,
she's amazing. She's amazing. She's a natural. She's so good.
You.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So Kemi was a participant, but now she's also part of my ecosystem right now. And then I will also let us know that we have people connecting from 4 continents right now: Africa, America, Europe, and Asia on this platform. So I want to thank everybody for connecting, and then we should have more of this by the grace of God. Okay, guys. Definitely, our next meeting will be in June at the Eco Hotel and Suite Lagos. We'll be doing Flip. That's Founders Leadership Intelligence Program. And it's going to be like a 2-3 days program, and you don't want to miss it. So all you just need to do, for those of us who are here, is to renew your membership of the think tank. Once you renew your membership of the think tank, you have a free room and then you have a free seat. We'll be having Cosmas Maduka. We all know how Cosmas came from the streets and then built a multi-billion naira, multi-million naira company in Nigeria, selling cars. I mean, he's the main distributor of Range Rover, BMW, Jaguar in Nigeria. It will be coming to tell us how to be street credible. And also we'll have Professor Patitomi, one of the founders of the greatest, the biggest business school in Nigeria called the Lagos Business School. He also will be coming from the classroom. You know, when you have the street and the classroom mixed together in a place, so you are more formidable than any other person, more formidable than any other person. So we'll be having that, and then we have some other facilitators we're also working on. As soon as we get them sorted out, we'll let you know. But June is our next time that we'll meet. Probably we'll meet again on this platform. If we can drag Martin to come on this platform again, we'll surely do that with all our heart. Thank you, everyone. Please stay in touch with us and make sure that you do not. We're already part of your ecosystem right now. We should be partnering on almost everything and everything. I mean, everything you want to do, we're here to support you and be with you and hold your hands all through the process. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I don't know if my guys, they have any other things to say. Mine is just to say thank you to everyone, Abioye, Peter Okitola, Edmond. Thank you all for Taiwo and Johnny. Thank you for being part of this. And just make sure you call me. Everybody on this platform can call me straight. You can call me. I'm here for you. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to rough it out with you. I'm here to go to the trenches with you. I'm here to go to the battlefield with you. And also, I'm here to go to the bank with you and then to enjoy the victories together. So just make sure you call and stay in touch. Thank you so much. Kemi, over to you. If my people are not talking to you right now, that means we should just tie this up and call it a day.
So if there's anybody that wants to say anything, just quickly drop it in the chat box before we go, because this is, it is Bank Holiday weekend, and it's been really, really wonderful seeing you all here, that you've took time out of your Bank Holiday weekend, took time out to come and develop yourself and, you know, stretch yourself a little bit more. So that's absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much for everybody who's come and joined. And Martin, as you said, it's so, so good seeing you, honestly, very, very good seeing you. And thank you very much for finishing those slides. So, so happy, you know, that we got
pleasure.
Oh, look at, obviously you're a minister of happiness yourself, aren't you? So, so you've delivered. So you have definitely delivered. So let me just check the chat box if there's anybody that wants to.
Kemi, sorry. And I think Martin mentioned something that all of us need to start looking at. Two things. Who is the Minister of Happiness in your organization? That's one. And then do you have a department in your organization that makes the impossible possible?
Yes.
Making the impossible possible. Very important. And then he said something about the impossible possible department. What do? They ask questions. They have open minds. I'm sure those people probably may not even have an office. They will just probably have a place where they just get in touch with nature. You know, you have to interact with nature for you to have an open mind. You have to interact with different kind of people for you to have an open mind. You can't say you're just, what's it called? You are a Christian, so you can relate with the Muslim, you can relate with the Buddhist, and you have an open mind. It's not possible. You have to interact with as many people as possible. You have to interact with nature. You have to interact with crazy things, very conservative thing. You have to interact with the Libras. You have to interact with the conservative. I mean, you just have to do all that to have an open mind. And that's when you can make the impossible possible. And I think I need to appreciate Martin for bringing that in, which is very, very, very instructive. Minister for Happiness, in other words, there's a Department of Happiness and there's a Department of making the impossible possible.
Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much again for the invitation. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so everybody's just saying a big thank you. You can hear lots of thank yous in the chat box there from everybody. People are very, very grateful for the session today, and it's been loaded. There's a lot of information in there, a lot for people to chew on for the next, until the next time anyway. So that's it really, isn't it? That's it. So we're bang on time. So that's it. It's now 18:15. So we are exactly on time. So we can now release you all to go back to enjoying your bank holiday weekend and your Easter with your families, and reconnecting with the why we do this, and enjoy your time. Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you, Nii Adesoya, for the opportunity. Thank you to all you wonderful people. And yes, I will go into my Instagram and check my messages that you've been sending. Been so busy, but I will certainly do that. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Good night.
Kemi, good night. I just wanted to hear your voice. Good evening, sir.
I'll smile.